Hey guys, happy Monday. Welcome to my channel, Simply Michelle, and happy to have you. Yes, so today we'll be doing story time, short stories that are really, what would you say, motivating. So I hope that you'll enjoy. So take a listen. Also, drop a comment and thumbs up the live and share. Thank you for being here. And I'm also working on my watch hours. Welcome back to my channel, Simply Michelle, and happy to have you. Yes, so you have seen the topic for today's short story. Welcome. And if you're here for the first time, watch and also comment and subscribe. So the topic of the story, as you have seen today, is a short story of faith, healing, and new beginning. The topic is the light in Minnesota. And these stories, they are composed by myself. And I hope that this one will minister and encourage your heart. So let's get right into it. Now, Mikhail Rowe had learned early in life that silence was never safer than truth. Growing up, he had been that boy in Miss Thomas' primary school class who sat at the far back desk, always with his head down, always writing in the margins of old exercise books. No one understood him. No one tried. Life had given him reasons not to speak. Loss he could not untangle, disappointments he had swallowed, and a loneliness so deep it had become familiar, almost comfortable. He had believed in God. No, he hadn't believed in God. He didn't believe in joy as well. His father left when he was 9. His mother, overwhelmed, drifted emotionally until she drifted physically too. By 16 years old, Mikhail left and felt like a shadow moving through the world. Brilliant, quiet, efficient, yet empty. And like I said before, he didn't believe in God. He didn't believe in joy. And he certainly didn't believe in people. When he turned 25, nothing much had changed. He worked a small job at the hardware store, went home, stayed inside, repeated. He convinced himself it was enough. At least, nothing hurt if you didn't expect anything. So he thought. A familiar voice after 10 years. It happened on a Thursday afternoon, so ordinary a day that God must have chosen it on purpose. Mikhail was in the corner alley, aisle, stocking paint cans when he heard a bright, musical voice behind him. Excuse me, sorry, are you Mikhail? He turned slowly. A young woman stood before him, sunlight spilling across her face like she carried a piece of morning with her. Curly hair pulled up, a soft smile, kind eyes, full of recognition. She laughed lightly. You don't remember me, do you? I am Stephanie. Stephanie Grant from Miss Thomas' class. She leaned forward a little. The guy that didn't talk to anyone was always so brilliant, she reminded him. Something shifted in his chest. Steph. He remembered a girl with ribbons in her hair who always raised her hand, in class. Always encouraged others. Always told him goodbye. Even he never responded. She had left town suddenly after she graduated sixth grade. He never knew why. You migrated, he finally murmured. Yes, she nodded. My family moved away, but I just moved back last month to stay with my grandfather. Her eyes brightened. He pastored the little white church on the hill, Bethel Hope Chapel. Mikhail stiffened. Church, not for him. But she didn't preach. She didn't push. Instead, she smiled. And the way sunlight rests gentle and quiet water. Wow, Mikhail, I can't believe it's really you, she smiled. Friendship he didn't know he needed. Over the next few weeks, Stephanie made a habit of stopping by the hardware store, sometimes to buy something, sometimes for nothing at all. What surprised Mikhail most was her consistency, her warmth, her interest in the stories he never planned to share. He tried to keep conversations short, but she had a way of making silence feel safe. She talked about her grandfather, Pastor Grant, the community youth group, her belief that God always found lost people, even those who didn't want to be found. One afternoon, she asked gently, "You ever go by the church?" Mikhail almost laughed. "No," he responded. "Well, you could come on Sunday. No pressure. I promise. Just come with me. Sit with me. I think you'll like the music." He shook his head. "Church isn't for people like me," he said. Stephanie looked at him with a seriousness he didn't expect. "You mean people who are hurting?" His chest tightened. She didn't look away. "You don't have to say anything. I can see it. God sees it. You and you don't have to carry it alone." Mikhail swallowed hard. No one had ever spoken to him like that. No one ever seen him like that. When a heart begins to open. A few days later, Stephanie found Mikhail sitting behind the store on his lunch break, staring at the mountains. "You look like your thoughts are heavy," she said softly. Without knowing why, Mikhail started talking. Not everything, but enough. He told her he didn't trust people, that he didn't believe in faith, that whenever he tried to hope for better, something worse came instead. Stephanie listened. No judgment, no scripture dropped like stones, just compassion. When he finished, she said quietly, "Pain has a voice too, but God doesn't silence pain, He heals it." He looked at her, confused and frustrated. "Why do you even care?" he asked. Stephanie took a slow breath. "Because I know what it's like to feel lost. And because God put people in our path for a reason. You were never invisible, Mikhail. Not to him." Her words sat in ear like a challenge, soft, but unignorable. For the first time, something inside Mikhail cracked, not broken, open. The church on the hill. It took 2 more weeks before he gave in. Fine, he muttered one afternoon. I will go just for one service. Stephanie's face lit up, not with triumph, but with quiet gratitude. Come with me Sunday morning. I will sit right beside you. The church was small, wooden with sunlight flickering through stained windows. Pastor Grant greeted him with warmth that unsettled him, like he was glad Mikhail existed, not just attended. During the sermon, Pastor Grant said, some people come to church expecting judgment, but God is the one who comes to them with mercy. You don't have to fix your life to come to Him. You come to Him and He begins to fix your life, said Pastor Grant. Mikhail felt something in his chest tremble. Stephanie glanced at him, not pushing, not insisting, just a reassuring presence beside him. For the first time in his adult life, Mikhail wondered if God had been waiting for him. A heart that finally says yes. After service, they walked outside, sunlight hitting the hills softly. Mikhail stood slightly, his hands shaking a little. I felt something, he whispered. Stephanie nodded. That's the Holy Spirit, you know. He's calling you. I don't know what to do with that, said Mikhail. You don't have to know, she said gently. You just have to respond. Pastor Grant approached kindly. Son, if you want to pray, I'll pray with you. Mikhail hesitated. Ears of doubt battled inside him. Ears of hurt. Ears of believing he wasn't worth anything. Not to people, not to God. But when he looked at Stephanie, he saw hope, not in her, but, through her, like she was pointing to something beyond herself. With a trembling breath, Mikhail nodded. They prayed under the almond tree beside the church. His words came out broken, but sincere. God, if you are real, if you really do see me, I am tired. I don't want to walk alone anymore. And in that moment, quiet, almost imperceptible, peace flooded him. Not loud, not dramatic, just real. He felt seen. He felt held. He felt loved. The beginning of light. Life didn't transform overnight, but Mikhail did. He began attending church regularly, reading scriptures, taking more smiling, sometimes healing gradually. Stephanie never took credit. She always said, it's God who saves. I just showed you the road. Months passed, and Mikhail found himself standing outside the hardware store one evening, watching the sky glow soft orange. For the first time in his life, he whispered a prayer on his own. Thank you for sending someone who didn't give up on me. From the road, Stephanie waved as she always do and walked toward church for a youth meeting. Mikhail, you coming? She asked. He smiled, genuine, unforced. Yeah, I'm coming. And as he walked towards the church on the hill, he realized something. Darkness was no longer home, not when God had given him the courage to step into the light, not when hope had finally found him. And that is the story for today. And guys, this story shows how awesome God is.
Hey, Pablo.
And just to give you a short synopsis, the story, it was really about a quiet, wounded young man named Mikhail, who grew up believing in nothing, not God, not people, as his life transformed when he unexpectedly reconnects with Stephanie, a vibrant Christian woman he knew from primary school. Though her compassion and the gentle guidance of her grandfather's church, Mikhail slowly steps out of his darkness and discovers faith, hope, and the peace he never believed he deserved. It's a story of healing, spiritual awakening, and the light God sends when we least expect it. And this just reminds me of how awesome God is. So, even in this life, you have people who are hurting and going through a lot. But I just want to remind those of you guys that have come across this video that brokenness is not permanent. With compassion, patience, God's love, even the hearts that have shut themselves away, can be restored and made whole again. Have you ever gone through a season where you felt like Mikhail, isolated or hopeless? What helped you through it? You can text under the video and share it. Do you believe God places specific people in our lives for a specific moment? Why or why not? You can respond on during the comment section. And which part of Mikhail's transformation stood out to you the most and why? Also, Stephanie showed patience, compassion, and consistency. How important do you think these qualities are when trying to reach someone who's hurting? Leave your answer, like I said, in the comment section. What role does faith or community play in healing emotional wounds? Also, what would you say to someone who have lost hope or stopped believing, like Mikhail did for years? How can we become Stephanie to someone else, someone who leads with love and help others draw closer to God? So, today we walk through Mikhail's journey. A journey many people silently live every day, believe it or not. His story reminds us the darkness is not the end and hopelessness is not life sentence. God has a way of reaching into our broken places sometimes through people we least expect and gentle guiding us back to his light. Now, if you take anything from this story, let it be this. No heart is too far. No soul is too damaged. And no life is too lost for God to step in and restore. We may all be open to the help he sent, and may we all be willing vessels for someone else's healing. And today I just want to say thank you for being here, and I hope may follow you, and whatever you do today, take the time to reflect and to give God thanks, because in this journey called life, no man is an island and no man stands alone. In spite of how you're feeling today, like Mikhail, God have a way of reaching us. And be hopeful and expect of God. Whatsoever it is you need, maybe you need deliverance from something. Maybe you just need help with something. Maybe you just need someone to listen. As you get up in the morning, expect that. Expect to see that someone. And talk to the Lord. If it's even to say, Lord, send your help, I need a listening ear. And I guarantee you that God will answer. His ears are not heavy that he cannot hear, neither his hands short that he cannot deliver. All you have to do is to believe. Believe that when you pray, God will answer. Believe that there is an awesome being, awesome God out there that hears, who sees, and who knows. And yeah, that will be enough for a moment. And I know that the Lord will minister to your need. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you. Remember to thumbs up the video when you watch it. And remember to comment in the comment section and answer the questions at the end. I want to thank everyone that have passed through, everyone that will listen and that will take part by commenting and share what it is you get from the story. Because, like I said before, no man is an island, no man stands alone. And in everything, remember to give thanks. Because when you give thanks, the Creator Himself will give you something more to continue to be thankful for. And the more you talk about Him and His name, and stand on His name, tell how awesome His name is, He will come and He will defend His name, because He's not a God that can lie. He said, seek and you shall find. He said, ask and it shall be given. He also said, knock and it shall be opened unto you. And in this life, we need each other, even more so than we believe, and don't give up today. Most of all, don't give up on God. If you're a person who right now you feel like quitting, you feel like this is it, I'm throwing in the towel, nobody cares. Maybe you have been there for persons, and now that you're in need, it seems as if no one is there for you. Not your friends, not even your family members who you helped. It's your time now that you need a helping hand, and everyone have turned their backs. I'm going to encourage you not to give up. But I will ask you to go on your knees one more time in prayer. Even if it's a situation wherein you feel like you cannot pray, or you may not be motivated to go down on the knees, wherever you are, in a quiet place, just say a word. If it's even to pray in your mind, tell it to the Creator. Before you throw in that towel, before you call it quits, one last time, just say to Him, just like what you would have said to a best and a closest friend, just give it to the Lord like that, whether in your thoughts, whether verbally. Yeah, call on Him, let Him know that, God, I'm fed up. This is my last time coming to you, because I have been asking, I have been seeking, I have been knocking, and it seems like no one cares. God, it seems like you are not there. Relate to Him, on a real, genuine scale, and let Him know what you're feeling, how you're feeling, and yeah, this is it. And you may be surprised to see that when you have come to the end of that road, that's when He decides to answer, to show up, and to embrace you with such a peace, with such a joy that passes all understanding. Because God is a unique God. His ways are higher than us. His ways and His thoughts are higher than ours. And we may not know why He acts the way He acts, why He chooses to do the things the way He chooses to do it, but He is God. And remember, we cannot fake it. You understand? So it behoves us to just be real as it gets with him. And I know he will turn up. Because I myself, I have been at that road once. I got saved at 15 years old. And yeah, it was at a time, my dad wasn't really in my life either at that. So maybe I can somewhat identify with Mikhail in the story. And my mom didn't have it, and at the time I had to go and live with some family member into a different parish, and it wasn't easy for that for those family members, but they give me the best and they tried. But there was that time when I felt like I was alone and nobody cared. I wasn't a Christian as yet and everything, and I remember I was invited to this church that I'm attending now. I was invited several times and go to the altar several times, but I was always having my eyes open. I was always fearful of who is this God, and the way I see the people moving the spirit, and I said, no, that's not dignified. And 15-year-old teenager, yourself, I was very much in myself, but that night, I think it was a youth week or something, I get fed up of going to the altar. I decided to close my eyes, and Sister Brown at the time, may God bless her soul, she had gone to rest. Beautiful woman of God, beautiful soul. She was praying with me and she said, Michelle, tune out everything. Just picture the Lord on the cross, giving his life for me. I remember like it was yesterday. And when she said that, I remember I closed my eyes and tears started coming down my face. And she was saying, Michelle, tears is a language known only unto God. So that is it. Let it go. Give it to the Lord. And I started doing what she was doing. And I remember I started praying in my mind until I started saying words. And I remember telling the Lord, I'm fed up. I don't understand why life was so hard for me. I was just 15 years old and I should not be going through this alone. I just felt so unloved at the time. I just felt like nobody cared. And, I remember feeling in my belly, it's as if a joy that turning over like a leap. My belly started leaping and it felt like the Lord was hearing me, and I felt like he wrapped me in my arms. And I remember my whole body felt chills from my feet come up, and I started to have stammering lips, and I started to say Jesus, and it's as if I was just complaining. Oh my God, I feel like crying. But it's tears of joy. I felt like, I was just complaining to the Lord. Hallelujah. But it was a feeling like none other. And this is something I wish that everyone could really feel, because it's extraordinary. I felt safe. I felt secure. I felt love. I felt like somebody was finally listening. And that night, I remember, it's as if I was fighting in the spirit. They could hold me. And I started to speak with stammering lips and this overwhelming joy. And I started to speak in another tongue. And it was just awesome. Oh, I'm a mess. But it's a good mess. It's just a memory of my experience. And I give God thanks, because from that night, here I am. I remember praying the prayer when I got the Holy Spirit. I still didn't even decided that I wanted to get baptized, because I didn't. I found this newness. But then a part of me was fearful, because I didn't. My friends, they were jeering and said, if you decide to walk with the Lord, I'll give you 2 weeks. Even when I decided that I was going to baptize, I give me 2 weeks. I'm giving you 2 weeks to backslide, because you're not going to stay in church. You love your pants too much and you look tight up, and because that 15-year world. But guys, as I sit here today, I was never saved. I got conscious of my appearance, and I just wanted to be more modern, more humble, more modest. And because people were telling me that I was going to backslide in 2 weeks, I started reading the Bible for myself. I prayed, I asked the Lord to give me the understanding of it, and I did get it. I started to love the Word of God. I remember I lived in Proverbs. yeah, Proverbs chapter 3 and the New Testament. And that is where I build my confidence. And I asked the Lord, I said, keep me because I really cannot do this by myself. I couldn't do it by myself. So here I am today after 30 odd days, 30 odd years. The Lord is still keeping me and I have no regrets. And I do have this joy. It doesn't matter what's happening around me, whether it is a hurricane, whatever, I find this level of peace and contentment in knowing that my life is in the hands of the Lord and knowing that He has the final say. So, yes, thank you for coming in today. I really didn't plan to share my story, but that's how the Lord operates. And, as I always say, Philippians 3, verse 14. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So, whatever you're trying to do today, do it to your best of your ability. And for today, I say bye bye and God bless you. And I do hope the story will encourage your heart and you'll look to the Lord always come to our help because our help comes from Him. Bye bye. Hallelujah. Yes. Maybe there's something you have been challenged with for years, your prayers that are unanswered for years. And you may be wondering, why is it that it's taking so long for God to answer? Sometimes God is speaking to us, and we are not paying attention. Hey, Mikey, bless you, my baby, welcome. Remember the thumbs of the line. And we are not paying attention. Maybe God is trying to just, urge us, sow a seed of faith. Sow a seed of faith. And, hold Him, accountable and see what the Lord will do. Help somebody else. Give to someone else. Give of your best, something that will take something from you. And happy Saturday. Happy to have you. And today we'll be having our short story on Saturday. So our short story or topic we will already seen it on the top. So it is said, the winds of God remember. And without looking, let's get right into the story. The cry of new beginning. Snow topped relentlessly against the hospital window. The night Alicia died gave birth. The world outside was white and cold, too cold for the storm raging inside her heart. She felt weak, floating somewhere between life and death. Her husband Marcus had passed only 2 months before in a construction accident. She had begged God not to let her die too. Not like this. Not tonight. But when the place, the tiny baby cried on her chest, instead of joy, fear and resentment washed over her. This child was the last thing Marcus left behind. But also, the reason she had nearly died, the nurse whispered gently, "She's beautiful, Alicia." Alicia turned her face away because she didn't feel ready to love her. A decision no mother wants. 2 days later, social service visited her in the hospital room. The state can take the baby, the woman explained softly. You are grieving, you are recovering, you have no income. It's an opinion. It felt like, no, it's not an opinion really. It's an option. It sounds like death all over again. Alicia stared at the baby, sleeping innocent, unaware of the broken nest she was born into. Her heart clenched, her soul trembled, her faith wavered. I don't even know if I can do this, Alicia whispered. I'm so tired. I don't even know what is the truth. But that night, as she held the child, just, as she held her child, just to feel her warmth, her heart softened, whispered in her spirit, I saved you both for a reason. Tears fell for the first time since Marcus died. As Alicia made her choice, she kissed her daughter's forehead and whispered, You are mine. I will try. God will help me try. She named her Hope. A house without heat. Life outside the hospital was far colder than the winter itself. Alicia's small apartment had broken, even the heater is not working. Her electricity flickered on and off. Her saving lasted only 2 weeks. The landlord didn't care. The world didn't pass for her grief. She wrapped little Hope in blankets and passed her to her chest every night to keep her warm. Alicia whispered, prayers in the darkness. God, please, don't let us freeze to death. Please, don't let her get sick. Please, don't let me fail her. Hear my cry, O God. Her breath turned to fire inside her. Oh, they ate canned soup every other day. Sometimes she pretended she had already eaten it, so Hope would have enough formula. But every morning she woke up and told herself, one more day, one more try, as she put each foot in front of each other, taking one step at a day, close to death. One night, the temperature dropped sharply.
Welcome everyone. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you all.
Alicia panicked. Her fingers were numb, her legs pale. She felt herself drifting. She wrapped Hope in a blanket she owned, then laid on the floor with the baby at her chest, using her own body as a shield from the cold. A little tears rose on her cheeks. I am sorry, baby. I don't have anything left. Her voice cracked. God, if you're still with me, if you are still real, please, please send help. Alicia cried. Then everything went still. Utter silence. Then the dark. A knock from heaven. A sudden pounding on the door broke the darkness. Hello? Is anyone inside? Alicia couldn't answer. The door opened, and warm light filled in. A woman's sharp voice cried out, Timothy! Hurry! Get the baby! wrapped her in a heated coat. A baby cried a strong cry this time as the stranger held her close to her chest. The young woman, Grace, and her husband Anthony rushed them to their car. Those that were passerby and the street side was looking and wondering what was happening. The young woman, Grace, and her husband Anthony rushed them to their car immediately. Stay with us, Grace said firmly. You don't go another night like this. You won't, I promise. Alicia tried to speak, but only tears came. A house filled with water. Grace and Anthony lived in a modest but warm little home. The moment Alicia stepped inside, she inhaled a scent she hadn't smelled in months. Food. Real food. Warm food. Grace handed Alicia a bowl of hot stew, then took Hope into her arms, bouncing her gently. She's precious, Grace whispered. I suffered. How old is she? 2 weeks, Alicia replied weakly. Timothy wrapped blankets in the dryer and rocked Alicia and Hope carefully. You two are safe now, he said. Alicia, overwhelmed, wrote down in Grace's arms. Why? Why would you help me, strangers? She said. I'm just a stranger. Grace smiled through her own tears because I asked God for a child, and maybe He wanted me to help one instead. A family formed by kindness. Alicia stayed with them through the winter. Grace and Timothy fell in love, not only with Hope, but with Alicia too. They treated them like family. Grace fed her. Timothy fixed her documents. They both prayed with her every night. Hope giggled the most when Grace held her, and when Timothy rocked her to sleep, Hope clung to his shirt as if she had always belonged in his arms. One evening, sitting at the dinner table, Timothy said, "You are not going back to that freezing place. Stay until you're stable. Stay with us. We will help you get work, childcare, everything you need, at least until you're back on your feet." Alicia covered her mouth as tears fell. You don't know what you have done for us. You have saved us from such a terrible tragedy, she went on. Grace took her hand gently. We just answered what God told us to do, and is to open our door. The blessing of sacrifice. Hope grew into a the blessing of sacrifice. Spring bloomed and Alicia stood stronger than she had ever been. She found a job. She began counseling. She joined Grace and Timothy's church, where the people they were loving. Hope grew into a bright-eyed, joyful baby girl, healthy, smiling, and full of life. One Sunday morning, Grace pulled Alicia aside, tears in her eyes. "I need to tell you something," she whispered. "Timothy and I, we went to the doctor this week." Alicia held her breath. And remember, I need to catch my breath, said, oh, sorry, said Grace. Go ahead, I'm trembling over here. Alisa, yes, we went to the doctor. Timothy and I, we are pregnant. And he just screamed with joy and pulled her into a tight embrace. Grace continued, voice trembling. I miss twins. Oh my gosh, she could not contain herself. They both burst into tears, holding on to each other, wiping their eyes out, filled with joy. God didn't forget us, Grace said. No, he didn't, Alicia whispered. He remembered all of us, said Grace, filled with emotion, as tears poured down her cheeks. Growing a new hope. As Grace belly grew, so did the friendship between her and her new best friend Alicia. The two women were inseparable. Alicia cooked for her, Grace babysat home. Timothy became the father figure. Hope would one day know as family. There was no jealousy in Grace's heart, only gratitude that she had known love before her new life. One evening, Alicia sat rocking Hope and watching Grace make tiny matching blankets for the babies. She whispered to herself, everything has lost. God restored to something I never knew. The winter turned to blessing. 2 months later, Grace delivered 2 healthy twin boys. When Alicia held them, her heart swelled. Hope now crawling, giggled and reached for them. It became clear that their families were no longer two. They were one. Alicia found an apartment not far away, regained her strength, built a peaceful life with Hope, but she and Grace remained inseparable, tied by faith, sacrifice, and miracle. The young couple who opened their door not only saved 2 lives, they received double blessings in return. And Alisa, who once doubted she could love her, she could love her child, now held Hope tightly every night, whispering, we survived winter, God carried us, and you my darling baby, you were worth every struggle. The cold season that almost killed them had become the season God used to show them He never forgets, He never abandons, He always provides. And sometimes He sends a miracle as a knock on the door. Oh my word. And that's the end of our story for today. What a beautiful story and an awesome God. He is indeed an awesome God. And this story, the winter, God remembered. And know that there may be someone out there who can identify, even now that it's winter, with the story in the world where they face snow and, snowstorms and so on. I don't know what is your situation, but if your experience is not a good one, just keep hoping, keep trusting in God. Life can get really hard and brutal this time. So this story follows with Alicia, grieving widow and new mother who almost give up, on her child, losing her husband, and nearly, child that was dying. And she herself normally died in her childbirth. But she chooses love. And that choice becomes her test of faith. And even as believers, our faith will be tested and tried. So we just have to remember to keep our hope alive. Can you remember her life, that as you have listened to the story, you were listening to the feeling. They have no heat, no electricity. Can you imagine? No electricity in winter. Everybody knows what that means. You're going to face death. Barely any food. A newborn she desperately wants to protect. This is the cry of a lot of single mothers all over the world. Especially in the countries where you have these winter seasons where you have snow blasting. Even if the snow is not blasting, once the snow is falling, that's ice. We need to stay warm and without electricity, without heat, without food, as a single parent. That cannot be easy. So, they barely had food, and the newborn she desperately wanted to protect. So it wasn't easy for Alisa. So one freezing night, she and her baby, are close to death. In that moment, God sent Grace and Timothy, a couple who themselves have been praying for a child. But at the time they weren't successful. And that is how God operates, guys. Sometimes we'll be praying for something and we're wondering, what's up? What is God doing? You have more than security to take care of a child. And can't imagine praying for one and for some reason you see that God is not answering. But here you meet upon a woman who have a child and don't have the wherewithal to care for that child. It seems a little twisted, don't it? But God, His ways and His thoughts are higher than ours. And as you see in the story, how it unfolded, one parent who had more than enough, right? More than enough. And still, their prayer wasn't answered to have their child as yet. But God saw it fit to bless a woman who is single, who have lost her husband, with no money, and in winter left out in the coldest place. And yet she had a child. Talk about the awesomeness of God. But this will encourage us not to give up, not to quit, because God always has a greater plan in store for us. And as this story shows, and it encourages us, the kindness of the lovely couple. They take Alisa and her baby in, giving them warmth, giving them food, shelter, love, and family. The kindness of Timothy and Alisa is priceless. How many Timothy and Alisa? No, how many Timothy and Grace are out there? There are many Alisas who are struggling, but how many Timothy and Grace are out there with helping hand who will open their doors? There are a lot of us who fall short in that area, But God always has an answer, and He has a plan and an answer, a solution to the problem. So the kindness becomes the blessing that saved Alisa and Hope's life. And because God honors compassion, Grace, who struggled with infertility, is miraculously blessed with twins in the end. You see how awesome God is? So this story shows, one, God uses people to answer prayers. Two, a single act of kindness can change multiple lives. Three, faith may take you through winter, but God always sends a way out. Exactly what I'm saying. That's so awesome, buddy. Four, what you give in love, God returns in double portion. What you give in love, God returns in a double portion. How awesome is that? He is awesome above all. So this story, it really encourages my heart, and I hope it will encourage yours, right? So make sure you really listen to the story so you can give your comments in the comment section what you think of it. You know, this is a powerful reminder that even in our darkest season, like Jamaica is facing now, I have relatives in Westmoreland that are going through some of this turbulence. You know, last Sabbath don't know where the next meal is coming from. So, you know, if we focus, let us be as Timothy and grace in whatever situation we can. And as I said, this is a powerful reminder that even in your darkest season, God is working behind the scenes. Even when you feel forgotten, heaven remembers your name. You know, guys, even in our darkest season, heaven remembers our name. And if you haven't gotten or taken anything away from this story, remember that. Even in our personal, in our darkest season, heaven remembers our name. So be encouraged. Be encouraged. And those of us who are out there who are not in the dire situation, like most persons are, even those that have been through the hurricanes that have passed, it has left hundreds, thousands of people homeless. You understand? Let us show an act of kindness. Maybe there's something you have been challenged with for years, your prayers that are unanswered for years. And you know, you may be wondering, why is it that it's taking so long for God to answer? Sometimes God is speaking to us, you know, and we are not paying attention. Hey, Mikey, bless you, my baby, welcome. You know, remember to thumbs up the line. And we are not paying attention. Maybe God is trying to just, you know, urge us, sow a seed of faith. Sow a seed of faith. And, you know, hold him, you know, accountable and see what the Lord will do. Help somebody else. You know, give to someone else. You know, give us your best, something that will take something from you. You know, something, I don't want to preach here, but many times in life, we give what it is we don't want. But you see, if we should start helping each other in a real way and give that which we ourselves, it takes something from us to give that sacrificial offering to somebody ready to help. You know, maybe school, whatever, in whatever way God is speaking to you. Once you have done that, and you have done it, it's a sacrificial thing that means something to you. You will see how much the Lord blesses you, and those unanswered prayer, you'll be surprised how the windows just open and things started to flow, and your prayer will be answered. Because God is awesome. He's awesome. But for too long, we have too many persons who we give that which we don't want. We give that which takes nothing from us to give it. But sacrificially, that's a whole different level, my friend. It's a whole different level if you start doing it sacrificially. I've experienced it already. I remember when my husband, you know, we're not well off like that. And we're going through a kind of situation. Welcome. And he got $1,000. And he said, Mish, I'm going to sow this by faith. And I said, I want to bring you money. Oh, please let us sow it by faith that we need this money. And he did. He gave it to the Lord. And after that, we were blessed tremendously. You understand? So sometimes you have to just go out, stand up on faith and prove God. Yeah, just prove him and you will see how much he honors your faith. So, yeah, don't just give what it is you don't want or what will take something from you, you know? And what will take a lot from you. Once you give it, man, give it with your all. Remember the story of the widow's mite? Yeah. If it seems like the widow's mite, remember that woman wherein she had just a little flower and oil left. But for the man of God, he went in for him and for her and her son. But for the man of God, she went in and a matter of fact, she thought that, all right, I'm just going to bake this last cake. We're going to eat it and we're going to die because it was in the time of famine. But, I think this one was about the man of God that was passing, and the lady decided to bake that one last cake. And then she shared it to the man of God. And after that, that act of faith, what started to happen, she did not have battles to hold the amount of oil that the Lord blessed her back with, and the amount of flour the Lord blessed her with to keep her for her and her son. And so these are Bible, these are things that we read in the Bible. They're not the stories. They're there to build our faith. They're there to encourage us. So when we reach to that place, and listen, you don't have to be a child of God to have that compassion, to share with others, to give sacrificially to others, to prove God, because God honors faith. Do you ever wonder why unsaved prayers are answered so? Because what? God honors faith. The Bible tells you. Even if you are a person that has no relationship with God, as long as you have that faith that can move a mountain, and most times see things, come on now. God honors that. That's why you see a lot of unbelievers, they are blessed tremendously. Because what? They have faith. They exercise their faith a lot of times more than believers. That's where a lot of times us as believers, we fall short. Yeah, we fall short when it comes to faith. This means because we want to see our plan out, we want to see A, B, C, and D before we take a move. And that's not how God works. God wants us to have faith that can move a mountain. Yeah, if the Bible said, if we shall say to the mountain, be thou removed and be cast into the midst of the sea, and believe that which we have asked for is done, it is settled down. Yes, darlings, my darlings. Simple Michelle darlings. I think I like that name. Simple Michelle darlings. Hey, my darlings. Yeah. We're going to give ourselves that name. You Simple Michelle family? Our new name is Simple Michelle darlings. Right, my darlings? Right. Once we exercise that level of faith, a mustard seed is a little bit grain of seed. And can you imagine if we have faith that is so tangible? The Bible says we can move mountains. I'm not here to preach this morning, my darlings. I'm just here to share and to encourage each and every heart and to know that listen, you are not and never alone. No. Don't you dare go there. It doesn't matter how big the problem seems. I'm telling you that once you exercise your faith, believe in the Lord and ask of Him, He will show up. He will provide. He will deliver. Yes, my darling. And the story, even when I look back at the story that I've just read with Grace and her husband, Anthony, their act of kindness. It saves a single mom and her newborn baby. Not only that, but their sacrificial giving. Even though that woman was praying for a child, which I have a girlfriend, I'm not going to call her name, but where's up, darling? She's no longer with her husband now for other reasons. I excuse my stubbornness. She wanted a child. She even had a miscarriage because the child that she got pregnant, but it wasn't in the right place. She was placed and then breast and everything, and it didn't happen, God knows why. But she had a beautiful heart. Let me tell you, she loved children. That's one of my daughter's godmother. I won't say which one. One of my daughter's godmother. And she gives sacrificially. And you know, she's a beautiful soul. And yeah, she had a husband because she didn't have a child, but she went on and she fostered. You know, but God is awesome. And she reminds me, you know, the story here with Grace and her husband, and they reminds me of my close friend, my daughter's mom, right? And it's just that with this couple in the story, they open their hearts, they open their homes, and my beautiful people, my darling, they open their hearts. They didn't have to do it that winter, but because they weren't even thinking about their own need, they weren't even thinking that, look, she lucky, she have a child, and she don't have to take care of it today, have more than enough, and God not even a look problem. She didn't let her situation make her bitter. A matter of fact, she forget about her need and cater to old person and a newborn child, cater for their needs. Her needs become rampage. And out of that act of kindness, look at the beautiful thing that God has done for this family. Grace. Grace and her husband now what? They have got twins. Twin boys at that. What a blessing. All because they did not block out what they have for themselves. They push forward their urge, their need, and open up and welcome someone else into their arms and into their space. And devote to someone else. And that one led God to bless them tremendously. Beautiful. Beautiful. So listen to the story. Listen to the story. Guys, please don't take the stories for granted. They are really motivating. And of course, they're written by, wow, even more family. My darlings, do you like your new names? We simply Michelle darlings. Yeah, I love and appreciate you guys. You know, for everyone who have watched the video, listen to my stories, commented, and like, share, whether verbally or actually sharing the video. I appreciate each and every one of you. You're all my darlings. Love you guys. I know that on a Saturday, yeah, last previous weeks I have the reading at 11:30, but I just decided to change the time because I'm trying to come at a later time to see if my darlings will be available. You know, so all my darlings that show up during the live, bless you, appreciate you all. And my other darlings that will watch the video afterwards, love you, love you, love you, appreciate you all. Yeah, so remember to comment under this video. Let me know what you think of the story. Come on guys, we're building something new together, you know? The Darlings Book Club. Simple Michelle, Darlings Book Club. Let me know you like that. Comment on the video. Come on, man. Watch the video. And the only way you will know this to comment is as if only if you watch the video to the end. You'll see the same segment. So you will know that I asked the question. Do you like our new family name? Simple Michelle Darlings. AKA my darlings. Let me know if you like your new name. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Darlings mean that we have a good thing going on. Yeah, we are sociable. More than sociable, we are friends around here. And we are family. Yes, guys. Appreciate you all. My darlings. I just love the ring of it. Darling. How are you, darling? Hence, darling. Come on, come on, come on. Over here about emoting yourself and leave a comment in the section. Yes, down below. What do you like about this neighbor? If you don't like it, don't start your conscience. Yeah, let us have it at the bottom. The more comments that I have said, yes, they like our new family name. Simple Michelle Darlings. That's the name we call each other. If you're for it, yeah, say yes, I like it. If you are not for it, say nah, and put your suggestion. Once you dislike it, put your suggestion. Because I'm liking it. But nevertheless, this is about a family, this is about us. So I cannot be the only one liking it. Because to be honest, you are darlings. You are the ones who want to call darling. So, yeah, you have a say in this one. So let me know. What do you like and dislike about me? Yes, guys. So yeah, I am grateful. We are not perfect, but we have to try. As they have a song say, each one win one to the Savior. And you really cannot win people, guys. How are you gonna win people and still minister to their needs? You can remember, can you imagine? Somebody's out in the cold, like Alicia, but you're going to watch to tell them about Jesus. And I'm going to listen to them earlier, because they're presently in one of a dire situation. So sometimes, as my grandmother would say, you have to catch the fish before you can scale it. Yeah, so on that note, just touch somebody today. Touch somebody's heart. Touch somebody's heart. And you touch their hearts. People will forget what you say, but they will never forget how you make them feel. That's something that it's a true saying. People will forget what you do say, but they will not forget how you make them feel. And up on that note, guys, one of the lovely. Well, I'm going to say subscriber, church sister, one of my church mother. She's such a beautiful soul. She blessed us with East Indian in November. What would you say? In November. Where do you hear that? Hey! Stay here. Well, God bless her and she shared with us. And I'm grateful. Yeah. I am grateful. This one is a little more. Right? So, yeah. And there you go. She reaches out and blesses us. So basically, we all have to pay this power. Someone bless you, bless somebody else. So, my darlings, yellow naman. Please, comment down below. Let me know if you love your new name. The Simple Michelle Darlings, but aka my darlings. So when I'm talking and addressing you, it will be, hey darlings, how are you today? Right? So I'm going to say bye now, my darlings. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being a part of the Simple Michelle family, aka my darlings.
Welcome, Sissy Blessed. Thank you for coming in. Thanks. I'll pass it on to her.
Close to the end of the video. Thank you for coming in. Remember to thumbs up before you leave. Yes, you are late. The story is over, but I'm still here. So make sure you go back and listen to the story from the beginning and let me know what it is about. Yes, and that person will just call. Yeah, watch it from the beginning and.
Thank you, Sissy Blessed. Sister Ellie's born again. Sister Ellie's not born again. Sister Betty. Everybody that are here, thanks for being here. Excuse my craziness. Oh, Lord.
My darlings, I love it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Simply Michelle, and happy Saturday. Happy to have you. And today we'll be having our short story on Saturday. So our short story for happy to everyone, and hey, happy to have you. Please do not be distracted by this. I don't know where this unrighteous love come from, and just stand up number forward like freedom. So anyway, yes, welcome again to my channel, Simply Michelle, and I am more than happy to have you, my darlings.
Yes, darlings, this Saturday we're having a live reading of our short story. But stick around, man. Stay a few minutes with me. Let us see who will jump on this live because you get 2 hours in a darling to be notified. Welcome in, my darling. I see one of my darling is already here. Happy to have you. Thumbs up that live. Yes, and this week Saturday, I said I'm here. The sun is shining bright and pretty here in Jamaica. Then all of a sudden downpour. And guys, now it is bright out. As you can see, all this that we're seeing is natural light. It is so bright out. But that's what I love about my country still, guys. The way in which the climate can just, oops, rain is falling, thunder roll, but then came the sunshine after a while. So on a Saturday, I've been reading these short stories, motivational stories. I hope that it has been impactful on all of you, my lovely darlings. So that's what happened. I know that across the world, in America, the States, they have been celebrating Thanksgiving. And it's a good gesture, but, we're all thankful right through the year. But me never hate another celebration because guess what? It's good to put aside a time and to be thankful, where you dedicate that day to being thankful, also having a feast, food, hey, cranberry sauce and all these things. Hey, why not? So best of the nice cells. And as you guys come in, please thumbs up the live, of course. I'm going to read a short story. But just linger in a few seconds for you guys to get here. And of course, share out the live. Yes, you will be talking to Judith. Yes, Morgan, share out the live. Yes. If you are original, simply Michelle Darling, you don't know the do, so do the do as a come in. Right, so let us wait for another few seconds and see what is happening. Where are my darlings? Yes, guys, so Thanksgiving is a good thing, but to be honest, I am thankful every day. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Always thankful because I learned that when you send up the praise, then the blessing comes down. All right, so it is around that time. Let us get right in the story. You have seen the title of the story, and just to remind those who didn't look and just jump on, the story is, as you can see at the top, Chanel's return. Sorry, I hear a lot of birds chirping while I love the sound and everything. They figure it out. Chanel's return. The night she ran. The night Chanel ran away, the sky looked like a giant rose, purple swollen, ready to burst. She stood outside the back door of the back door, the peeling wooden house, her backpack trembling on her shoulders. The sounds of her 2 younger siblings arguing over a toy floated through the cracked windows. Then her father's irritated voice. Then came her mother's exhausted sigh. No one noticed her leaving. No one ever did. Chanel gripped the strap of her bag. 15 years old and carrying enough hurt to fill a lifetime. Her whole life, she had been the forgotten one, the eldest, the unwanted reminder of 2 teenagers who had grown up too fast. Her mother had her at 17, her father at 18. Kids raising a kid. Kids who never forgave life for trapping them.
And Chanel bore the punishment. She washed dishes until her fingers proved. She cooked meals and barely tasted them. She helped raise her siblings while longing for someone to raise her. She was the Cinderella of the family. Hmm. Minus the fairy godmother, minus the magic, minus the glass slipper, just the ashes. That night she whispered a shaky prayer. God, if you are there, don't let me die. And with that, she stepped into the darkness. The streets. The streets were a battlefield she never trained for. Within hours, the cold sunk into her bones. Within days, the hunger felt like knives. She found quiet corners beyond restaurants where she would be seen. Sorry, where she wouldn't be seen. She leaned and learned when workers tossed out leftovers. She timed it perfectly, running to grab the food before it was crushed by the rest of the trash. Sometimes it was fries, sometimes old sandwiches, sometimes just bread that had gone tough. But it kept her alive. Welcome, my darling, darling, darling Joseph. Welcome, JB. Happy to have you. Right, but it kept her alive. Other kids on the street roamed in groups, fighting and stealing to survive. Chanel avoided them. She trusted no one. Every night, she curled up behind a dumpster, praying no one would find her. Every morning, she told herself she would survive one more day. She didn't cry. Crying was a luxury. But every now and then, in the quiet moments, she whispered, why wasn't I enough for them? She groaned. A woman named Janelle. It happened on a chilly afternoon. Chanel was digging behind a dinner, was digging behind, a dumpster when a voice startled her. Hey, hey, sweetheart, you don't have to run. Don't run away from me. I just want to see if you're okay. Chanel jerked back, clutching her backpack like a shield. A woman stood there, African American, maybe in her late 20s, with soft eyes and a warm smile. She wore a name badge that read, Janelle Missionary Volunteer. Chanel glared at her. I am not doing anything wrong, you know. I didn't say you were, my love. Janelle lifted a warm paper bag. I brought you extra food. You look like you haven't eaten in days. Chanel's stomach betrayed her with a roar. Janelle pretended not to hear it. Something in Janelle's eyes made Chanel pause. For the first time in months, she saw understanding, not judgment. You know, Janelle said softly, I grew up like you. I ran from home at 15 too. That made Chanel freeze. You did? She inquired. Yes, Janelle's voice wavered. And sometimes helped, and sometimes helped me. So some people helped me. So now I help others. She smiled. The safe place. Janelle took Chanel to a missionary shelter run by women. Janelle expected cold walls and stricter rules. Instead, she found warmth. She was given a bed, clean clothes, a warm meal that made her cry silently into the late nights and into the plate. Over the next days, the woman spoke The woman spoke to her gently. They listened to her story. They prayed with her. She remembered her. She wasn't a mistake. They reminded her she wasn't a mistake, but she was important in the sight of the Lord. You are loved, they said. No one's ever said that to me, Chanel whispered. No one's ever said anything nice to me. You'll hear it every day now, my darling, Janelle replied. Slowly, Chanel shed her street instincts. She went to school again. She took therapy sessions. She learned about God's grace. Sometimes she never believed she belonged, or it belonged to her. And every night before bed, Janelle checked on her like a mother would, and that warms her heart. Growing up old. Years passed like slow sunlight. Little by little, Chanel healed. She excelled in school, top, she's top of her class, her grades were exceptional, top recommendation letters. Her teachers constantly told Janelle, that girl is brilliant. She just needs someone like you in her corner. She always said, Janelle replied, she just needed someone, just to tell her, to remind her that she is loved and is important. The missionaries discovered Janelle had a gift for caring for the sick. She was calm during emergencies, gentle with those in pain, and intuitive with people who couldn't express their needs. You'd make a wonderful nurse, Janelle told her. Janelle smiled faintly. That would make me the first in my family to be anything. You will be more than just anything, darling. You will be someone. At school and purpose. With the missionary program support, Janelle enrolled in nursing school. The work was hard, more than she expected. There were nights she stayed awake, studying until dawn. Nights she cried because she felt behind. Nights she felt like quitting. I know a lot of us would identify with that. However, but then Jana would sit beside her. You survived the streets. You survived loneliness. You have survived hunger. Don't you dare think nursing school is stronger than you, because you were built for this, baby girl. Janelle laughed through tears. I wouldn't be here without you. No, Janelle corrected gently. You are here because God's hand never left you, even when you felt invisible. These bites. Chanel passed every semester with honors. The graduation. Come on now. Graduation day arrived like surprise. Chanel wore her white nurse uniform, her curls pinned neatly, her smile brighter than she believed possible. Janelle sat in the front row crying openly, full of emotion. She was a mess. When Chanel walked the stage, the crowd clapped and cheered, but she didn't look at them. She looked at the woman who became her rescue, her mentor, her reminder that God never forgets his children. After the ceremony, Chanel hugged her tightly. You saved me, she whispered. No, Janelle said again, wiping her tears. I just showed you the door. God walked you through it. Don't you forget that. Janelle laughed. Then God must love me a whole lot. He does. Always do. Page 8. A call to go back. At 25, Chanel had become a registered nurse. She saved her money, lived modestly, and prayed regularly. One day during prayer, a quiet thought settled in her heart. Go back home. She just could not shake the thought, as randomly it will just pop again in her mind in a soft but firm voice, repeatedly, go back home. Her stomach tightened. She hadn't seen her parents in 10 years. They never came looking for her, never filed a report, never asked the police, never called any extended family members. They simply just let her go, as if they have totally forgotten all about her. But the answer came, forget about her. But the Lord whispered, why would you want me to go back there? Chanel whispered, Lord, why would you want me to go back there? To a people who have neglected me, who have even forgotten that I exist. But the answer came gently, because they still need healing too. The sound voice echoed in her ear. Page 9. The return to the village. Chanel traveled by bus to her old village. It looked smaller, poorer, even more worn than she remembered. The houses that once felt like prison stood crooked, the paint peeling worse than ever. The yard was overgrown. There was no laughter, no sign of life. She knocked on the door. Her mother opened and gasped as she held her mouth. Her father limped into view, leaning on a cane, thinner than she remembered. Her siblings, now teens, peeked from behind the door, behind their parents, as Little Mouse. Her mother pressed her hand to her mouth once more. Chanel? Baby? Is that really you? Chanel's throat tightened. Yes, Mama, it's me. The revelation. Inside the house, the story was told to her parents, and they couldn't put into words as to how they were feeling. Poverty had crushed them. Her father had suffered a bad injury. Her mother was exhausted from caregiving and working odd jobs. Her siblings were struggling in school. Inside the house was really very telling. Then her mother broke down. We didn't know how to love you right. We were kids. We were scared and we were wrong, Chanel. God knows we were wrong, child. And when you left, we thought we lost our chance to fix it. Her father wiped his eyes. When we didn't hear from you, I thought maybe God had punished us. he said. Chanel felt her heart twisted, not with anger, but with compassion. I am here now, she said softly. A new beginning. Chanel used her nursing skills to help her father manage his pain and mobility. She taught her mother healthier routines and stress management. She tutored her siblings, encouraging them to dream higher. Word spread in the village. The daughter of who ran away had come back to heal the family who once hurt her. People whispered, oh yes, the gossipers were plenty, and even without shame. One had the heart to talk out loud. That's God. Only God makes heart that strong. Chanel stayed for weeks, then months. What she thought would be a quick visit became a mission. Healing old wounds. Lord of mercy. One night, Chanel sat on the porch with her mother. Mama, she said, voice trembling, why didn't you look for me? Her mother broke into sobs. Child, I thought we'll ruin you. I thought you'll be better without us. I truly thought I don't deserve to be your mother. Chanel took her hand. You were broken, Mama, but broken people can still love. The mom looked into her eyes as her mother cried harder. Can you ever forgive us, child? Janelle squeezed her hand gently. I have already done so, leading them to God. Chanel invited her family to church. At first, they resisted, embarrassed of their past. And we all know how much not everyone that goes to church really goes to worship. But you have the faithful paparazzis who cannot hold their tongues. But nevertheless, Chanel insisted they come with her. God met me on the streets. He met me in the shelter. He met me in every ear and every tear. And he can meet you too, Mom and Dad. She reiterated. One Sunday, her family finally came. They sat together in one pew, something Chanel had once only dreamt of. During the altar call, her mother stepped forward. First, her father followed, then her siblings. Chanel cried softly as they prayed. God was writing a story she never expected, coming full circle. Months later, Chanel watched her family thrive. Her siblings earned higher grades. Her father managed his pain. Their home felt warmer, full of laughter, and even love instead of tension. Chanel visited often, supporting them financially, of course, and emotionally. But she never felt drained. Instead, she felt joy, helping them, no longer reopening wounds. It sealed them. She now knew she wasn't returning to the girl she once was. She was returning as the woman she had become. A mother to her siblings, a healer to her parents, a testimony to the village. The final message. Hey, welcome, Sister Blessed. Welcome. I'll soon greet you guys properly. The final message. On her last evening before returning to the city, her father said softly, "You are the daughter we didn't know how to love, and you became the blessing we didn't deserve." Chanel smiled. "That's what God does, Dad. He turns pain into purpose." As she walked down the dusty road, the sun setting behind her, she whispered her final prayer. "Lord, thank you for being and for bringing me full circle. Thank you for turning abandoned into chosen. Thank you for letting me be the light that returns home." And the wind carried the answer. This was always your story, your healing, your purpose, your return. And that's the story. Beautiful, beautiful. Awesome, God. Welcome, Sister Blessed Life Journey. Welcome, JB, of course. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate your presence, of course, my darlings. It makes it all worthwhile. And yeah, you have just heard the story. And, I'm just going to also read the moral of it. The moral of the story that was read. Healing begins the moment you stop running from the truth and start walking towards yourself. Chanel discovered that strength isn't proven by pretending nothing hurts. It's proven by allowing yourself to be honest, vulnerable, and willing to try again. Chanel learned that growth requires facing every pain we avoid. Forgiveness, especially of yourself, is the doorway to freedom. Love becomes real only when we stop hiding our wounds and start communicating our truth. You don't have to be perfect to be deserving. You just have to be willing. And that is just the honest truth. In the end, Chanel realized that her past didn't define her future, right? And as we, talk about these things that we normally do at the end of a story, it is true. We could discuss what moment in the story do you think marked the beginning of Chanel's healing? Those are stuff. If you're here and you have been listening intently, you can jot it, you can text it. Because, there was a point, of course, when her healing began. And how did Chanel pass how did her past shape the way she reacted to love, trust, vulnerability, and how can you relate to her defense? So at what point in the story can we say that her healing began? I would say her healing began when she saw how much Janelle, that missionary worker, took her, into her arms and bring her to the missionary community. And they expose her to God, to God's love, God's sacrificial love. And not only that, the healing even cemented when she saw how much Chanel, you understand, herself had nothing. She had nothing. She felt she had nothing to offer, right? So Joseph said, "Well done." Thank you, Joseph. Sister Blessed Life Journey said, "Try again." Beautiful. And Joseph said, "I agree." Yes. When Janelle decided to encourage her to try again. Because and you bring me back on point, Sister Blessed, because there was a time when Chanel wanted to quit. So Janelle had to remind her, look, don't even think about quitting. Because if you have quit the streets, you have beat the streets by surviving out there for so long on your own as a teenager. You understand? So now that you're given this opportunity, to be educated, to embrace the love of God and all of that. And yes, it was getting hard. Yes, you have to remind her that, look, come on, girl, don't even think about quitting. All you have to do is try again. So that is true. And how did Chanel's past shape the way she reacted to love, trust, and vulnerability? Can you relate to her defense? I mean, in some instance, I can relate, but not all of it, because I have not run away from home. I really don't know what it is to be at the streets all by myself. But I can relate in some way, not literally on the street, but I remember when I had to leave the country to come to Kingston and live with my uncle and family. Sometimes you blame yourself because you're leaving your other siblings behind and it's a whole different way of life. Well, I was living in Clarendon, leave from Westmoreland, come to Clarendon, then leave my uncle and aunt's home and come to Kingston to live with my father's sister. And then there was my auntie's husband had 3 kids at the time, 2 girls and a boy. And then we further grow on like brothers and sister. But that kind of makes you miss your siblings at some point, but over time I grew out of it. So I maybe can relate to feeling like, okay, what did I do? What have I done that I have to be the one that have to leave out of that home to go live with extended family members, and not getting too deep in it, but yeah, I can relate a little, right, with that. And as it said, what shaped the way she reacted to love, trust, and vulnerability? I think what shaped it that was when she was now joined into the community of the missionaries and church and the whole aspect of Christ. And, as the young lady had encouraged her that God loved her and she deserved it, she started to trust again, because now she started to learn that she was worth it. You understand? Thank you for the love hearts. She was worth the headache. She was worth the efforts that others were placing into her. She started to believe it. So that's how powerful the mind is. You have to start believing that, look, if God can love me so much, who am I not to love myself? And others take you into their homes and show you such sacrificial love. So it helped her, it enhanced her confidence. So Sister Blessed said, amen and amen, true. So true, even in real life, said Sister Blessed. She also said, you're welcome. Yes, Sister Blessed, that is true. So that is, and number 3 said, do you believe Chanel's decision to finally confront her pain was triggered by the breaking point or by the support she received? What pushes someone to truly change? Yes, I believe it is the support she received. You understand? That support from that missionary community and from Janelle, that missionary worker. Yeah, it helped her. It really did. I think that's it. Right? So honestly, that's beautiful. That really is beautiful. And at the end of the day, he said, what does this story show about how trauma impacts relationship, and how does honesty change everything? Trauma do impact relationship, yes, because according to the trauma, all right, let me read in the chat now. Right, so Joseph said, same way, so. So Joseph agree with what Sister Blessed and I are saying, right, Joseph? And Sister Blessed said, it shaped her. Yes, it shaped her. It did shape her. And as we see in the end, how well it did that, she went back to her hometown. A lot of people would not have done that, but I'm coming back to that point. Because it said, what does this story show about how trauma impacts relationship, and how does honesty change everything? Right. So yes, we're at that point. It changed her, and the trauma impacted her in such a way that, it took a while for her to adjust to certain things and to accept that she was loved. And Also, not only her, the parents also went through trauma. They being parent at such young age. One was 17 and the other parent was 18. Can you imagine being teenage parents? Yeah, and have 3 kids. It impacted them in such a way that the mother and the father, it seemed as if they were so depleted. They didn't have the energy to really love Chanel the way she needed to be loved, because there were 2 more younger siblings in play, right? And thank you, Sister Blessed, for the love hearts. Right, Sister Blessed said, wow, rough. Yeah, man, it was rough being parent, what would you say, being teenage parents. And it led to the mere fact that, thank you guys for the love heart, to the mere fact that Chanel ended up as a 15-year-old. She realized, look, we can't manage this. No, this is not, she realized this is not right. So being through, that situation where you realize that, boy, see, like your parents, they're not loving America, there's 2 other persons to take care of and all of that, and being treated like a Cinderella without the chariot and all of that. I mean, she wanted more. And though the parents, they were traumatized and teacher treated her so poorly, she fled. She fled. Yeah, she ran away to look better because she know that this can't be it. Sister Blessed said yes. Yeah, man. She said, no, this can't be it. If you stay here, so me never have no future. I doom this for me right so. So she ran away. So I wouldn't judge her too much. To be honest with you, maybe if we're in the same situation, but I would run as well. But we see that even that experience, it kind of traumatized her when she finally got a community that was showing her love, But a lot of us can say anything, but until you maybe have been in the position of that 2 teenage parents, we can say differently, but, as we see when she went back, even though we don't want to jump to this so far, I want to read maybe 2 more questions. Chanel's greatest fear was being abandoned for being too much. Why do you think so many people carry silent fears like this? Right? So Chanel, the young girl that ran away, the young child, one of her greatest fear was to be too much, even though she was now in an environment that other people were, taking care of her and extended kindness and warmth. Because of that trauma, she still believed that, listen, let me try carefully. I don't want to be too much to handle. Right? So the question
Welcome,
is
JB.
asked,
Welcome, my darling.
what would have been
Happy
the hardest
Monday.
part? No, when I reached there, so
Thank you for coming in. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for your thumbs up as well.
So many people carry. Why do we think that so many people carry this fear? I think I can totally be identified with that part of it, because though I was living in Clarendon, when I left from Westmoreland to Clarendon to live with my mother's brother and his wife and other children who were a little more fortunate than us, one of the things that was my biggest worry too was that let me not eat too much. Not that they were forcing it on me, that was just my fear. And I tried to track carefully. Sometime, hi Miss Janet, that's my late uncle, my uncle passed away, but Miss Janet, she's now in America. Bless you, Miss Janet. Oh, she treated me so nice. There were times when she have a daughter, we were best, she was 2 years older, she's now living in Germany. Hi Claudia, aka Michelle. She changed her name to Michelle because the people that in Jamaica spoil her name. So she named Claudia. In Jamaica they call her Claudia.
Bless you, Joseph. Bless you, my dear friend. Welcome,
so she said she changed the name to Michelle because nobody can. May I tell a secret, my friend? But anyway, yeah, so we were close in age.
Loving you right
from
back.
time to time, this big old bump, you see, guys. From time to time, Miss Janet, her mom would say, Claudia, why you go and straighten up the room? This is a blessed laughing. Go and straighten up the room, or pass me this, or do me that. What? Or get this on me. What I would do, because she would say, Mommy, show money. What I would do, I would, even though she wasn't referring to me, I would run to get it. I would make myself useful. You understand? So one time, my cousin, the same Claudia, aka Michelle, she would say to me, Michelle, everything Mommy say you just wrong to do it. You just make me look bad. I said, but she asked for it and you murmur. But that was my way of coping when I just got there to make myself useful, because I didn't want to become unbearable or anything. Not because they were imposing it, not at all. It was just my fear, you know, and so on. So I can identify with Chanel in that aspect. And I think one of the reasons I ask us why people do that. You do it because of the insecurities that lies within you, of what the experience you are being brought out of, you know. And as Sister Blessed
Thank you,
said,
Joseph.
yes,
Thank
be
you.
mindful.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
it's about being,
I'll pass it
just
on
to
to
be
her
mindful
later.
that, all right, I enjoy this space and I want to stay in this space, so I don't want to become a problem that I have to leave again. So for me, it was kind of that. So I think that is why most people doing that, to be mindful, to be helpful, their little way of contributing to the warmth that is now being shown to them, the love that is now being given to them, those little perks that you weren't used to in the situation that you're coming out of, and now you're in a newfound environment, and you just want to make yourself be a part of the solution by being mindful, as Sister Blessed rightfully said. So Jay Brown said, load about Michelle, you don't see you're in love, right? Right, Blessed? Listen, them say that the love when somebody really love you bad, but I hope I'm husband and nobody else. Sister Blessed said, JB, bro, and I laugh. Right. So yes, guys, so that is it. So the next question I'm asking now, if you were Chanel, what would you have been? What would have been the hardest part of this journey for you? Confronting the past, trusting someone new, or forgiving yourself? I think the hardest thing in the story, that I think if it was for me to do, would maybe two things: being able to trust others and to confront the past, especially confronting the past, because you know that you're an adult, and yes, you want to go back to see your family, to see if they missed you, if they, love you when you're tall, if they think that you die. You don't know what you're going back to. The unknown of going back. You don't know if you will be blamed, even though running away was the best thing you maybe have done. You don't know how they would see it. You don't know how you would deal with what if they resent you and all of these things. So that would have been the hardest part for me. So Joseph, Sister Blessed, let me know what would have been the hardest part if you were in that young lady's shoes, now that she have made something of her life. Would it be returning to the past or trusting others? Yeah. Or forgiving yourself. Forgiving myself. I have a way where I look into things. I tend to introspect and see what part have I played and all of that. And to be honest, trusting others. Right. So Sister Blessed said trusting others. Maybe I will have a little problem too with forgiving myself, because it's when I found the Lord, I really grow and heal from certain things and know when it's my fault from when it's not my fault. So being in her situation, well, she did get healing and restore, so forgive yourself, no. I would think trusting others, as Sister Blessed said, and also facing the past, Right, so we're jumping ahead. After reading this story, what is the one thing you possibly take away about resilience, love, or starting over? Yeah, one of the things that I take away from this with resilience, love, or starting over, is that I've learned that in life we're never to say never, because she could have easily said, I am not going back to the past. I'm not going back to my village to seek about nobody. She could easily say, no, my life is better and their loss. J. Brown said, it all depends. Yeah, it all depends too. But yeah, she could have said, I am not going back to look for any parents because they abandoned me, even though I ran away. It was too much and I ran away. They didn't send the police. They didn't even try to seek out to see if I was dead or alive. But what I'm taking away from this story is that the lead, she didn't do that. Janelle, she had empathy. She went back to her village. She went back to see about her parents who didn't have the capacity to love her and care for her the way they should. And when she went back without judgment. She wasn't judging her parents, even while the mom and the dad, they were so hard on themselves, right? They were so hard on themselves where they were blaming themselves, out of guilt because they were truthful. It pays to be truthful, and take that away from the story too. Always be truthful. I think the truth is the better way to go. When you have truth, then you can have healing, restoration, and so on. But without truth, we have nothing. So to the mere fact that the parents, they were truthful to her. They acknowledged that, look, baby girl, we have done you wrong. Girl, we could have done this, we could have done that. You understand? But because of their own trauma and all of their devastation, they weren't really equipped to push and pull themselves together to do it. You understand? But they didn't really make any excuse. They stated the truth that we could have and we should have, but it wasn't done. And they apologized. So I take away knowing when to really tell the truth always and when to apologize. Apologize. Yeah, because with apologies, there comes forgiveness, right? Yeah, because we would say that the attributes of the main reward of apologizing is forgiveness, right? And Sister Blessed said facts, right? So the reward for apology is forgiveness. Did you know that, and you may have known already, when you apologize genuinely for anything you have done, it's off you, even if that person do not forgive you, it's no longer on you, because what? You have let out. Forgiveness is really for the offender, Once you think there, you forgive, hey. Once you repent, even if the person don't forgive you, in the sight of the Lord, you are free. If the person do not accept that apology, it is no shift from the offender to the person. Because what? The main reward for repentance is to forgive. And the Bible said we are to forgive 70 times 7 within 1 day. No, I honestly believe with all my heart that there's nobody in the world that is able to forgive you. You understand? Anybody 70 times in 1 day. And that's what we are to do. I don't think we reached this yet. You can imagine, forgive one person, nobody in the world, what I meant to say, nobody in the world have offended you 70 times 7 in a day. So you must forgive them. Right? So right away, it is only logical that, look here, when somebody comes to us and asks for forgiveness, just forgive them. Let it go. Right? Just forgive them and just let it go. It's better for us. Because once that person genuinely apologizes, in the sight of the Lord, they are free. So whether we choose to forgive, yes or no, it's on us. So I would say it behooves us to just forgive. Forgive them, even if you feel like you're not at the place yet to forgive. Generally assess yourself. Because sometimes when you know the better, just do the better. Sometimes it don't have to make sense. When you know better, just do better. Because the Bible said, he that knoweth too good and doeth it not to them, it is sin. So even if you don't process it good yet, forgive. Just release the person, acknowledge and said, it is accepted. Okay, I accept it. Even if in your heart you know you need a little time to deal with it, or be truthful. I accept your apology, but to be honest with you, I just need a little time, to assess it, to deal with it. And that's honesty. The person cannot be upset that you need time as long as you release them. So Joseph said, I agree, but you have to forgive yourself first before you can forgive them. It is the same way you have to love yourself before you can love someone else. That have its truth and its logic too, J. Brown. But you see, because I am a firm believer and doer of the Bible, I am not perfect. So I understand this, I can't be perfect, guys. My darlings, because I'm not. But me do try to do the right ones, But the Bible didn't tell you that still. It's a logical way of looking at it, which nobody can genuinely fault it. But because I'm a true believer and follower of the word of God, I have to do it that way. Whether or not I forgive myself, I have to find it to forgive others. But what I get from what you're saying, Jacob, if the person have not acquired the know-how of how to do that, it's not going to be successful. And I can understand that. But it is good to develop the art of what the Bible said to forgive 77 times in a day, because even though we know it may not be logical, but what the significance means that we must always forgive. That's what it basically says. Always forgive. Because the only perfect being is the Savior, the Creator himself. And to be honest, I think the world could be a much better place if people could forgive more. And also, if people could realize and apologize and say, I'm sorry more. If people could genuinely say, I am sorry, it would be a better place, because I believe that once the apology is genuine, it will be received and people will forgive. And people will be more casual, but hey, it's the world of making a one day, right? So, yeah, that's true. Right, so basically, yeah. And I just want to thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming in, for listening, and especially Sister Blessed JB, for being a part of the chat. You make it more wholesome, it is more rewarding that way. And I appreciate you guys. For those that will come across the video afterwards and will watch, leave your comments also to some of the questions, your honest answer to some of the questions. And I appreciate you too, my darlings, for coming after to watch and to share as well. But Shannon's story reminds us that everyone is fighting battles we cannot see. It also reminds us that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is simply admit you are hurting but you are willing to heal. You understand? And Sister Blessing said, so true. You are welcome. Alright, so Jacob says something like, make sure we not read it. None of us will never be perfect, no matter how hard we try. We only can do the best we can. Beautiful, my brother JB. Beautiful. That's just the truth. So Sister Blessed said, so true. And she said, you're welcome. And Sister Blessed said, I'm off on Saturday afternoon. That is why. Okay, appreciate it, Sister Blessed. Appreciate it. Because we know it's rough, to be at every live and everything. It is rough, because we do have our lives, we have work, you understand, we have even other persons. So we get it, man, we get it. I really do appreciate it, though. And Jacob and everyone else that do come in on a Saturday. I appreciate that. It's not easy, especially Saturdays and Sundays. It's not easy. So even making this life is like me have a literal schedule. After this now, anyway, this is a different life. But after this, we have some other chores. We go to like ironing the church, your food. One, yeah. So me get it, Sister Blessed. I really do. I really do get it. You know, but this is a good story. Healing is a must in everything. Also, love isn't perfect, but we have to navigate our way through. Cancel it me your phone now. We have to navigate our way through and all of that. So at the end of the day, yeah, I have a way to download and I think on my son's phone and I borrow it from him. And my daughter sits on the area. But you know, I appreciate you guys. I really do. I love and appreciate you guys a lot. You know, there are times when, you know, there are certain things happening in the evening, especially Sister Blessed. I'm not able to be at all of them and I feel bad about it, but I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to navigate some stuff. But one of the downfall is when you work for yourself, your work never finishes. You have your work, you have housework, and when you have children, it's not an excuse because everybody can really identify. So, yeah. But I do think most of the time you deserve an explanation because you have been selfless in the street with us. I appreciate you all to the max. Right, so yeah, that's the story, and I really do, you know, that is okay, Sid. Life is life. Oh, so true. That is true too. You know, but I really do appreciate. I'm trying to. You're welcome, said Sister Blessed. I just want to say welcome everyone. Thank you for coming and so on, because I'm really trying, especially with the watch hours, as we all know, reaching 1 year and I reach the watch hours. The good old white tea have a way to take back your hours, but I'm trying not to stress about it and just enjoy what I'm doing. Jay Brown said, Michelle, I don't know how Blessed do it. Sometimes I have to wonder if she have time to scratch her own head. And the truth is the truth. Yes, it's true, but you know, when you have a zeal, you do, and that's again, you have selfless persons, and Sister Blessed is one of them. It's like, you are the way you are, and especially when it's in a good, positive way, for some reason, it's like God gives the strength. God do give the strength, but I do wonder too. And the truth is that even sometimes, you know, our stuff is not as, what would you say, supported as it really should. And one of the I can't talk to anybody, but like I already explained, so if it's even in the morning, I see certain things, you know, I'm trying to make it my point of duty to jump on and so on, because, and to be honest, I start weighing and I say the people that are selfless in the street, not only to me, I see that they're selfless to others. I try that wherever I have a little free time, I just rushing upon them thing and just be there and encourage them, because this thing takes encouragement and it's not to be taken for granted when people support you. Sister Blessed said, sis, just enjoy what you're doing. Also, leave the stream running and mix it up with semi-interactive silence. Yes, I need to do that more, Sister Blessed, and I have taken your advice. It's not that I overlook it. My problem is that my phone, I can only truly rely on my phone most of the time to do these things, because though my son have a laptop, I don't understand the StreamYard business, I tell you the truth. I'm learning social media in the real time. So I don't understand certain other stuff that I see is happening in the street. And my daughter, she not totally have the patience to teach me everything. Because sometimes she can't bother with me. So I just learn as I go along. So but the silent thing that you're trying, I need to find out the StreamYard, how to do StreamYard on it. But I tend to do it like with using my phone on the TV and that in that way. But the interactive part that you're talking about, that is something we can do. So I go work on those more as well. And yes, I try to enjoy it, man. I tell you the truth. I love writing, I love reading. So that part of it is easy for me. It's just that I have to be patient now until it reaches its right algorithm and crowd. So that's good advice. Thank you, Sister Blessed. She said, I do a lot of semi. Right. So the semi one would be like you have something playing and then you will talk at interval. That's the understanding I'm getting. Because if it's that, I think I can work around that too. Sister Blessed said, at night when you are going to bed, put the phone in a less common area and leave the stream running. Yeah, you know, I used to do that. You told me when I just started this channel, Simply Michelle, you told me, and I used to do it on the counter and so. Yes, I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to try and do that. I think I will do. The kitchen is the most appropriate place because when the kids get up in the night to go to the fridge for water or whatever, at least they won't be in it. So I think I will do that. And don't mute your mic, sis. Oh, don't mute the mic. Cool. That sound like, yeah, man, that's something that can be done. Just leave the mic on. And I think I need to buy some little gadgets. Have a little corner for that. Change it up for true. Yeah, I think I'm going to take your advice on that. Do it more frequently. Jay Brown said, you know what upset me sometimes? Let's say give a 100% from her heart and she don't get it back. And I never hear her. Yeah, I've never, even with me expressing myself, it's not because I've heard her say a thing. It's not because she made me feel any way neither, because it doesn't matter how long it takes for me to get back to her. It's as if I've never left. That's just how genuine sure about it. So that is true, Jay Brown. That is true. And me venting is just my own natural conscience and know that more should be done. It's not because she don't make me feel a way about it. But I know that, to be honest, you know, she's one of the person that we should really, really tune into. Because if your replay team is replaying, it's on a laptop, it won't play. Oh, if it's muted, okay, I see that. So basically, I need from that to show me to how we can. Me get it now, Sister Blessed. It's like I'm doing what I'm calling a loop. I could have a loop on the TV and set up my phone as the live to play, to carry the live. Because I do it one time, few times, but I've never left it overnight. You know, and one of the reasons for that is, like my husband and sister, they said, he went and said, Michelle, stop waste current because a foolishness that you do. But I know it's not foolishness, so, you know, sometimes you just have to say, babe, just let me do it right here. Just leave me with my nonsense, because I heard other people testify that it do help the watch hours. Sister Blessed said, I would encourage you to do the stream via YT and not via StreamYard when you are looking for watch hours. Oh, well, that worked out better for me then. I feel encouraged to hear that, because I thought I was missing out, you know, with the StreamYard. So I'm happy that you said that. Oh, she said, no loops if you aren't talking at times. All right, so I won't do the loop. I'll just set up the live and leave it. Leave it in a good enough corner. I'll do that there, because that is fairly easy to do on my phone. YT Direct gives more watch over. Oh, beautiful. Appreciate that clarity. You see, that's why I go to talk sometimes, instead of they are open both. Yeah, appreciate you guys. All right, so, you know, basically I wanted 1 hour. You guys have been here with me for over an hour. 1 hour, 4 minutes and some seconds. And my daughter push up her mouth because she wants to use the kitchen. So, appreciate you guys. StreamYard is good, but the watch hour is less. Yeah, thank you for that, Sister Blessed, because to be honest with you, the watch hours I'm interested in, because the subscription is really coming on, but the watch hours, I'm losing watch hours if I don't run lives, as you rightfully tell me. Women love them foolishness, said Joseph. So we'll have to adjust leave them to make them do them thing. It's true, and basically I just saw it and go, because after him give me a mouthful, I'm just gonna say, all right, let me know what you're doing. So you're right, Jane, yeah, exactly that. Exactly that gonna happen. Thank you guys. So YT Direct give more watch hours than streamer. Thank you, Sister Blessed. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate you all for being here to me, my lovely, lovely darlings. Appreciate, appreciate, appreciate. Words cannot express. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And enjoy the rest of the Saturday. Please do. And God bless you. Yeah, thank you, Sister. You're welcome, sis. Loving you right back, sis. Love you guys. Bye bye.
Okay, guys, thank you for being here. Appreciate each and every one of you. Love you, love you, love you, guys. Thank you for spending the time with me today, for helping me with my watch hours. Love and appreciate each and every one. Sister Elsie, Joseph, Sister Blessed, Miss Betty, the amazing M&G, and all the person that came in, even from the very beginning. Love, 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 love. And all my silent watchers who did not, you didn't really care to let me acknowledge you. That's fine. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking and staying. Love you, love you, love you all. Until we meet again, we say later.